Glow plug is still in the hole, but it's kind of haggard. So for reference, that's kind of what it should look like. That one's dirty too, but it's not screwed up. And then that's what we're going to. It looks like something's broke off down inside there. There's something melted down in there, which is probably a chunk of aluminum by the look of it. And there might be drill bit down in there. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use end mill to clean the hole up and then pull it out, hopefully.
All right, so we are just getting in there with the end mill, and lots of times the end mill does not like this, but it does the job, so we do it.
That sometimes happens when you go down in those holes, because what happens is the bit starts to do this, it bounces around, but it's nature of the beast sometimes. If you were doing it on a mill, it wouldn't happen, but just this thing's not rigid enough to keep it from moving around, so it is what it is. But looks like we got a decent hole to work with now. Doing that to get a little bit of a center on it. It's hard to get it exactly centered because the hole's so schmagmud, but do your best to try to get it centered. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a drill bit and we're going to run it down inside there a little ways, and we're going to try to get the center of the glow plug out. As soon as you get the center of the glow plug out, it gives you a little bit of area where you can center off of it to make sure that you're running where you want to. And then we'll go a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. This one will need to be heli coiled, but we want to try to make it, we want to get it as close as we can, because the closer we are, the easier it is to fix.
So all I'm doing is running that drill bit down in there. Probably you're about 3/4 of an inch or so on these ones. Not all of them are the same, but basically what you're trying to do is just to drill out the top part of the glow plug where the thread is. But obviously you don't want to drill through the cylinder head. You only want to drill it as far as you have to.
Actually, the whole thing came out. That's cool. So we got the center of the whole glow plug out now. Now all we have to do is fix the threads that are messed up there. So that's what we're going to do now. So now, that's what we're working with. We got the center to come out. Center to come out. Nothing screwed up, other than that outside's ugly. Now what we have to do is get the threaded part out. And that might be fun, but that's what the task that we have to do. So, here we are.
So here what I'm doing is I just checking the level of the cylinder head. So basically I use a valve guide level with a basically a punch to try to get that hole as level as I can, basically straight up and down, so that the machine, so when we're drilling it, it's right exactly where we want it to be. For the most part, you can freehand this and do it as well. I've freehanded lots of them, but I have the machine at my disposal, and it is, at this point, this is a rush job, and I'm working after hours, so the machine isn't being used for cutting seats. So right now, we're basically using it as a glorified drill press. But it does the job, so we'll use her that way.
I'm just going to clean up around the hole a little bit with this burr bit, just to get it kind of half round, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Just trying to do my best in a very short period of time to try to get that hole looking like it's supposed to.
Now we're going to go into heli coiling. So this is the drill bit for the heli coil.
So here I'm just drilling the hole out for the heli coil and adjusting the speed a little bit, but not too hard to do. Just have to get after doing it. So usually just tap it in with like a little bit like this, and then usually I'll finish it off by hand. Just depends on the hole and the project that you're working on, but this does work really well because you can adjust the machine perfect speed.
Already got the heli coil we're going to put in. I put 1 drop, maybe 2 drops of Loctite down the hole a little bit so that it retains that heli coil properly. just a little bit deeper. And then all you got to do is stick something down in there to knock off the little, if you guys have never done one of these, you have to knock off the little tab. Little tab in there, we got to knock that off. So basically, not too big a deal to knock off. All you got to do is just stick a screwdriver down in there and give it a swat. Usually there is sometimes actually a tool in the kits, but this kit doesn't have one. There we go. And then just double check that piece is down in there. You want to make sure you get that piece out, otherwise it'll be a bad day. So we'll just take the air blower, put it up against the hole if I can find it. She shot out. So that's the repair. It's not super pretty, but it's definitely better than what we started with. The hole's perfect, no damage other than the cosmetic damage on the top that they did, but it's cleaned up a lot nicer than it was. So that's what it originally would have looked like. And that's what we end up with. I could spend a little more time cleaning it, but this thing's a work truck, so I don't see the point in making it super cosmetic. That's gonna have that fixed. Now we're on to this one.